Hey YouTube, this is just a quick video for LG Tromm washer machine. I'm going to show you a Band-Aid fix for the drain pump, as we had an issue with the drain pump failed before we had to leave for a trip the next day and a half or so. We ordered one immediately, but shipping from Amazon stated it wouldn't be on time, so this Band-Aid fix solved our problem. These pumps are not very reliable, as this will be the third pump motor that I installed in this machine. In the same machine that I replaced the wash tub bearings in. To start, the pump will need to be removed. For that, you can see other YouTube videos on details and explanations how to remove each piece. I just illustrated here, but the pump needs to be removed so you can bring it over to the bench to start the Band-Aid process. To get it apart, you just pull these 3 screws out. 1, 2, 3. And once it's off, that shaft pops right out of there with the propeller right on it. The pump propeller. When you remove the motor from the pump housing and your impeller looks all together and not cracked or broken, because how this pump fails is the impeller, it gets stripped out from the shaft and will just spin freely, and I will illustrate that at the end of this video. But with a impeller all together, not cracked, you can perform this Band-Aid fix to get you up and running. So you will need a cotter pin and a small drill bit to drill a hole through the plastic impeller and also into the center shaft of the motor. You can do that by locking it like in a vise and just drilling straight through. And to test it, just put some leads on there. You can see the cotter pin down on there. Plug this in. Look at the cotter pin. See, it sounds better already. Now the shaft is locked solid and it's not slipping in that coupling. With the repaired motor pump mounted back in the machine, I like to always test it before I put everything back together to make sure things are working and not leaking anywhere. So what I do is I usually just put about a gallon or so of water into the drum and connect it up. And I should also mention you can put the machine in service mode. On this machine, you press the soil level and spin speed button at the same time. However, you have to put the machine all back together to accomplish that. That's why I perform this little shortcut here before everything's put back together. Okay, I just connected it here like so. And I put about a gallon and a half of water in there. And here's the test to see how this works. This is the hot side right here, and this is the hot side. And let's watch the water level go down. Disappearing. And now let's reverse this plug. You'll see I believe it's a two-way. It don't matter which way it goes. Let's see here. See? Emptying. Don't matter which way the wire is connected. It's all going down. And that's it. So that's a good temporary fix. Maybe permanent for some, who knows. Okay, after 2 days of intense washing, the Amazon pumps arrive. Too late to do any good. However, they got to be put in, so here we go, start all over again. But we can dissect the repaired pump to see how it held up. Okay, after 2 days of intense washing, let's see how this Band-Aid held up. And look at that. Probably would have went quite a bit longer. I seen Amazon came through. We ended up getting 2 pumps because we can see this is going to happen again. And your original one should spin freely like this, and then it catches. This shaft kind of like locks it up solid. It seemed to work fine. Those 2 days of intense washing got the job done. Okay, to give you a little heads up on how these pumps fail, I'm going to just pull the pin out of this one that I locked up. But I've seen these pumps fail in one of 2 ways. And the first pump I replaced, right in here, it cracked. Like, it was a big crack, and it kind of, the impeller cracked down there. And the thing was just sitting there. Actually, I think it fell out when I pulled off the pump. It wasn't even connected to the shaft. It was just spinning inside the hub. And the way this one failed is it didn't crack like that, but the center hub basically wore down. What we'll do is we'll dissect it. But this is what it looks like. It's working fine, as you can see. But it's really not the way to test it. You put on a pair of strong gloves and kind of go like that. If you can hold it, actually that I drilled it, it's a little, but if you can hold it like that, you know that it's not right. It's going to do that under the water pressure. You shouldn't be. And usually, like if I tried doing that to the new one, it would probably do something bad to the shaft. But that's how they fail. They give you a little heads up on that. Okay, I just put the new pump in, the replacement. And I always like to, again, hook it to the alligator clip leads to this little makeshift extension cord, just to make sure I have no leaks and the pump works. And let's try it. Actually sounds not as nice as the original, the one I repaired. It's working. Well, okay, I would say that's a good fix. But again, the repaired one with the lock shaft does sound a little nicer than this one with that impeller, I guess, loose like that. It vibrates. You can hear it vibrating. Well, I have the new one right here in the box. We'll give you the lowdown on how this thing should really work. So we're just going to connect it. This is the backup to the backup. It's like, all right, if your pump is good, it's going to do this here. We'll put this glove on and plug it in. And you can see if I try stopping it, it's not happening. So if you can grab it and stop the propeller, then you know you're gonna have to either drill it out and put this Band-Aid fix until or just wait around and get a new one. And seeing I have zero need for this Band-Aid one that I drilled out and put the shaft, the cotter pin to the shaft, we'll just go ahead and pry this off so you can see what the part that fails in there. Kind of go like this here. The whole thing wants to come apart. There it is. And you can see, well, it deteriorated inside. You can see here, some junk in it. And let's see here. Oh, that's nice. It's full of water. Gotta love that. Let me just dump this water out of here. Yeah, it looks like that seal, like, it was working fine, full of water though. Okay, so right here is where I drilled it. You can see the actual thing right here where the pin went through. And that's how it locked up. But the way it failed, it looks like something there. It just deteriorated. So that's that. So I guess if you can lock it up with like something that's not going to rust away like that cotter pin, probably like with a, you know, like a copper pin or something, it'll probably be pretty much a permanent fix. And just so you can see why the water don't affect it is because if you slide this block off of here, this is the electronics, and you can see it's completely a sealed unit. So the water in it, this is a magnet here. So yeah, so the water in there really don't affect it at all. But one thing I did notice, those solder joints down there, especially on the new motor, do not look too good. So if you have a motor that seems to be dead, check those solder joints for continuity. So that could be an issue from vibration, those solder joints breaking. And here's a close-up look at those solder joints. You can see they're pretty sketchy. Well, that's a wrap for this video. Hope this helps somebody in a bind.